Okay. So today we are talking about parallel and perpendicular lines. Remember, parallel lines have the same slope. Okay, so number one wants me to find the slope-intercept form of the line that passes through the point 2, -1. So it's going to be my x1, y1. And then it gives me this equation, 2x minus 3y equals 5. Do you know the slope of that line off the top of your head? No. So I should start off by rewriting this line in slope-intercept form. Yeah. Brianna, can you turn off the light? It's right in front of you. So then I want to start off by solving for y. So I'm going to take 2x away from both sides. So I get -3y equals -2x plus 5. It was our second day. Tuesday was our first day. Okay. Then I want to get y completely alone, so I'm going to go ahead and divide everything by that -3. Okay, so on the y part, it's going to cancel out and just give me y. On the -2x over -3, does that simplify anymore? Yeah, it just turns into positive 2x over 3. And then positive 5 divided by -3. -5/3. Okay? So when I am doing on a line that is parallel, I don't care about the b from the original equation. That's not important. I only care about the slope. So my slope is going to be my m. And that's just the 2/3. Okay, so what I want to do, now that I have my m and my x1, y1, remember I'm going to use the y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1 formula. So I'm going to plug into that. Y stays y. Then I'm going to subtract -1. It equals 2/3 x minus 2. Okay. Then I want to simplify. So -1 is going to turn into just a +1. Over on the right side, I want to distribute. 2/3 times x is 2/3 x. 2/3 times -2. -4 over 3. Remember, when you multiply a number and a fraction, you just multiply the top number with it. And then I want to do what? Get y by itself, so I'm going to subtract 1 on both sides. It's going to get me y equals 2/3 x. And do you guys know what -4/3 minus 1 is? I know what it is.
Negative 7 over 3.
So, I have negative 4, oh, you can't see.
That's just gonna, won't that as a...
Here, look. Can we turn on the light really quick? Brina? I did, and it didn't. So then, if I do negative 4, oops, that's not a fraction. Negative 4 thirds minus 1. So you're right, it will give me a decimal, but look, if I press this math button, my first choice is arrow to fraction. If I press enter, then it turns it back into a fraction. Okay, questions on this problem? Okay, so the last thing we're going to talk about, guys, the last thing we're going to talk about today is perpendicular lines. Perpendicular lines have negative reciprocal slopes of each other, so opposite signs, and then if it's a fraction, it flips. If it's not a fraction, it puts it over 1 and then flips. Okay. So number 3, it's kind of the same process. It's just when I get my slope, I'm going to flip it and change the sign. So it's passing through the point, negative 1. And it's perpendicular to this line, 2x minus 3y equals 5. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead. It's the same line. I want to go ahead and get y alone. So I'm going to subtract 2x on both sides. I get negative 3y equals negative 2x plus 5. Okay. Then what I want to do is I want to go ahead and divide everything by negative 3. So it's going to give me y equals 2/3 x. Yep, I'm going to write it as negative 5/3 though. So again, my b value is not important. And then I want to find my slope, which remember is opposite reciprocal. So my slope is going to be negative 3/2, because this was positive, so I changed the sign, and then I took that fraction and I flipped it. Then I'm going to go ahead and plug in. So I'm going to have, what do you mean? Yeah, there's no x when you're finding the slope. It's just the number out front. Okay. So then I'm plugging in the formula. So I'm going to have y minus negative 1 equals negative 3/2 times x minus 2. So I want to go ahead and simplify. On the left side, I get y plus 1. On the right, I distribute. Negative 3/2 times x is negative 3/2 x. Negative 3/2 times negative 2. Positive 3, because the 2's cancel. The 2's cancel out. There we go. Then what do I want to do? Subtract 1. And this gets me, what's 3 minus 1? Yep. Questions here?